Hi. So today's focus is on completing the square. Okay, so that means nothing to you. All right. So sometimes you know how you can factor things like, let's say, x squared plus I don't know, like 6x plus 9. Do you remember factoring this in x factoring method? Yes. Okay. So what would we do in x factoring method for this? Say it one more time. AC over B. So you mean a times? So we go a times c over b. Okay, so in this case, what is our a? 9. Wow. One more time. 1 is 1. Okay, a was 1, right? So because there was a 1 right here, and so and then our c is what? 9. And you were forward thinking to think that like 1 times 9 is 9. And then down below we put what? 6. And remember how do we use these numbers? This 9. Yes.
Well, we do what can multiply to make 9, but add to make 6.
That's right. 2 numbers that multiply to make 9, but add to make 6. And so what 2 numbers multiply to make 9? So 3 and 3. And then how do I write my answer for this? We have x
Plus 3.
basically x plus 3. Is everybody okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay, and then if I asked you, like let's say if I told you that this was equal to 0, and I'm like, hey, what are my roots? Like what are the values of x? And we have what?
X minus 3 and x minus 3.
X minus 3. No, I'm sorry, x is equal to negative 3 and basically negative 3 again. Is everybody okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay, anybody have a question? Because I want to answer that question for you if you have it. No question? Okay, cool. So let's say if I started with the regular format of ax squared plus bx plus c. Oh, that's good. Then equals 0. Then this is what we do. This is the way that completing the square works. I hope you're taking notes on this because this is definitely something that you can look at and like blink for a second and be like, what just happened? Okay, so what we're going to be doing is we're going to be creating a new c. We will be subtracting c, moving it to the other side. Okay, so my new equation will look like ax squared plus bx is equal to negative c. This is the formula. Okay, and then we're going to be creating a new c. And the new c will be created by adding on b over 2 squared. But if I add it on this side, what do I have to do? Add on the other side as well. And I didn't leave myself a lot of space. b over 2 squared. Okay? Now, when I write it this way, it doesn't give us a lot of context, so we don't know exactly like what it means. It's just a bunch of letters. So
you would add 3 to both sides.
okay, we add 3 to both sides. Okay, cancels out. Now I have x squared minus 2x plus is going to be equal to 3. Plus Okay, and how do I make my new c? Yes?
We go b over 2.
Yeah, we go b over 2. So what's my b?
2.
Negative 2 over 2, and this is going to square. All right, so again, we have negative 2 over 2, and that's going to square. All right, so we said that we're going to drop these down. Oops. All right. So basically, we're creating perfect squares, a thing that'll make this squared. So down here, I'm going to put my x. Is everybody okay with that? And down here, I'm going to put whatever the value inside the parentheses is. Okay, so it's negative 1. Is everybody okay with that?
Yeah.
Because negative 2 over 2 is? There you go. Okay, cool. And so then over here, I'm actually going to work it out. So we just said this was negative 1, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, and then we have negative 1 squared, which is what?
1.
Positive 1. So now I got 3 plus, which is 4. Is that, did I move too fast on that, or are you good? Okay, so from this point, what do we do? We square root that. Okay, this will come out a lot cleaner. So what is x minus 1 squared square rooted?
X minus 1.
Basically just x minus 1 is equal to?
2.
Plus or minus.
Thank you, plus or minus 2. Plus or minus 2.
Is x equals 1 plus or minus 2.
Okay, so what do we do? Final step? I heard add 1. Okay, so we add 1. These cancel. And so what are my values now? What are my answers?
X is equal to.
X is equal to?
Plus what?
2.
Plus
1
plus 2.
1 plus or minus 2.
1 plus or minus 2, but we can actually simplify that. So what is 1 plus 2?
Negative or positive 3.
It's not negative positive 3. That's the thing we got to watch out for. That's a super simple mistake to make, and it happens all the time.
It's 3
So
and 1.
yeah. So you have to think of it. What is 1 plus 2?
3 negative 1.
3. And what is 1 minus 2?
Negative 1.
Negative 1. Did that make sense?
Yeah.
Wait, why would it be?
Because it's 1 plus 2 and it's 1 minus 2. Because it was plus or minus 2, remember?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right, first step, subtract 8. So now we have x squared plus 10x plus is equal to negative 8 plus
Then you break down the x squared and then
not yet, because I don't have anything here though. I don't have anything here.
you do b over 2. So
And what is my b?
10.
10. So I got 10 over 2 squared, and I got 10 over 2 squared. Is everybody cool with this? All right. So then I heard something about bringing down. So what do I bring down?
Bring down the x
I bring down an x,
and then the 5.
and I bring down a 5. Positive or negative 5? It's a positive 5. Okay? Anything else I label?
Squared.
Squared. Good.
Equals and then negative
So we have negative 8, and then what is this value?
5.
It's 5, but it's 5 squared, so therefore it's 25. 25 minus 8 giving us
17.
17. So the next step we're looking at is square rooting. All right? So tell me if I'm going too fast, because I don't want to be going too fast. So x
Plus 5 is equal to the square root of 17.
it
Plus or
is
minus.
yeah, is equal to plus or minus root of 17. So we subtract 5, and we end up with x is equal to,
Negative 5 plus or minus 3.
and let's write them separately, just to practice so we don't make a mistake. Okay, so here's another thing. I didn't mention this before, but you cannot do completing the square when you have a leading coefficient in front of your x squared. Okay, you can't. It's not going to work. So yeah, yes, exactly. So we have to extract a 3 out of it. We divide it out. Okay, so if I divide out a 3, I'm left with x squared.
Minus 24.
Minus what?
Minus
Oh, you're doing
8x plus 9. Thank you. I didn't hear that. All right, is equal to 0. Now, here's the funny. Please make sure you're writing this down. Don't get distracted by the bouncy blue thing. All right, so you extract the 3, and after you've extracted the 3, the important thing is that this 3 kind of disappears, because watch when I isolate it. If I divide both sides by 3, in this case, what happens over here?
0.
It just basically disappears. So now I just have this really clean equation. So what's a major rule for doing completing the square?
You can't do it if there's a leading coefficient.
Yeah, no leading coefficients. That's a big one. No leading coefficients. Okay? The only leading coefficient is 1. Okay?
Subtract 9.
I subtract 9. Hey! Cancels out. Blam! Now we have x squared. That's a terrible. Minus 8x plus who knows what is equal to negative 9 plus who knows what. Okay.
Negative 8 over 2.
Negative 8 over 2 squared. And what is negative 8 over 2? What is that?
Negative 4.
And what is negative 4 squared?
16.
Can I just write 16 over here, or is that going to break your head?
No.
That's okay? Everybody's cool how I got 16 here?
Yeah.
Nobody has a broken head? All right?
So then you bring
I see no hemorrhaging. Okay, so
the x down.
I bring the x down, blam! And I have an x. Thank you. And somebody else, you're giving me like gold, like you're dropping it like a minor. All right, so not that minors drop gold. Yes.
Negative 4.
All right, and then what?
Minus 4.
And minus 4, that's right. I just need to make sure that other people understand. 'Cause you got it. All right, so
Why is it negative 4?
why is negative 4? Because what is negative 8 divided by 2? Blam! Negative 4. And so whatever's inside the parentheses
Oh, right.
comes on down.
Okay.
All right, nice. Thank you. Thank you for the question, though. I want to make sure everybody's clear. All right, so what's this now?
7.
All right, so it's equal to 7. All right, so what do we do next? Actually, why don't you go ahead and tell your neighbor what you do next and do it.
Square root.
I square root it like a bounce. Okay, and so what do we get?
And then x
Square
plus
root
or
of
minus.
Then it's x equals 4 plus or minus.
And then you add 4.
And then I add 4. That's correct. Thank you. And so I get x is equal to 4. Spread them, break them up. 4.
Plus the root of 7.
And x equals
4 minus.
4 minus the root of 7.
Equals that.
Huh?
Semi. Never mind.
That's a semicolon to separate them.
We have to split it up.
The reason is because it's super easy to make a mistake. So, In this one, we have to do some regrouping.
You need to add 4.
So yeah, we got to add 4. Is that okay? All right. What else do we?
Add negative.
Well, actually, I could add 4, but remember, we're gonna eventually end up.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. We can move it all to the left. That's fine. What do I gotta do with this guy? We're gonna add x squared, which means. Are we good for that?
Yeah.
Okay. So what is this? 3 x squared plus.
4,
So we have 4x squared
minus 12x.
minus 12x
Plus 7.
plus 7
Equals 0.
equals 0.
Divide by 4.
Yes, you do divide by 4. Is everybody good on that?
Yep.
You do divide by 4. That's hecka wrong. All right, so I got to extract a 4. So 4 goes on the outside, so what do I have left on the inside?
X squared minus 3x.
Actually, for some reason I want to move this for, it doesn't matter. All right, so we have x squared minus
3x
3x
plus 7.
7/4. That's right. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Everybody's cool with how we got 7/4? Because it's 7 divided by.
4.
Good. Okay. So does the what?
Doesn't the 4 cancel?
Does the what? Basically, because you'll be dividing. Yes. So I'd be like isolating. This would cancel out. Okay, and this pretty much dies off too. But numbers don't really die. They just they multiply. So are you okay that I move the C? Is that all right? What do you think we do next? Something had to do with arrows. I think.
Oh, you
Add.
drop down the x squared and negative 3 over 2.
Is everybody okay with this? Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. What is negative 3 over 2 squared? Like, what's negative 3 times negative 3? What kind of 9?
Positive 9.
Positive 9 over 4, and then I was adding that to 7/4. Is everybody okay here? What do we get?
1/2.
Yeah, it's 2/4. Is everybody okay with that?
Yeah.
Because 9 minus 7 is 2.
Yeah.
2 over 4 is, as was stated,
1/2.
1/2. All right. Okay, good. All right.
Square both of them.
Yeah, we're going to square both of them. Okay, so what do we get here? We have x.
Minus 3 over 2 is equal to plus or minus the root of 1.
Yeah, kind of.
Root 1 over root.
Basically root 1 over root 2. But what's wrong with this?
You can't have a root region.
All right, and real quick, wait, what's the root of 1?
1.
It's 1. Is everybody okay with that?
Yeah. So you have to multiply by.
Yeah, so let me correct him real quick. So the root of 1 is 1. And then you were just saying,
Multiply by.
yeah, you got to multiply by the root of 2 down here. Everybody cool with that?
Yeah.
All right, what happens when I do that?
It's 1 root 2 over 2.
Yeah. So once again, x minus 3/2, okay, is equal to. We have basically 1 root 2, which is basically just root 2.
Right.
1 root 2 is root 2.
Yeah.
And then root 2 times root 2 is
2.
root 4, and that's just 2. Are we okay with that?
Yeah.
What did I leave out?
Plus or minus.
Left out my plus or minus.
You have to add 3 halves to that.
And I do need to add 3/2 to that, okay? So now I've got x is equal to
3 root 2 plus
3 over 2. Do they have a common denominator?
Yeah.
Because they have a common denominator, I've got 3.
Plus or minus 2.
3 root 2 means 3 times root 2. So I've got 3 plus the root of 2 over 2. Is that making sense? Yeah? And then 3 minus the root of 2 over 2.